ended up being separated from the ocean for a long time, and I was feeling more and more like something was missing in my life. And I decided that I needed to get that connection back. So I started going to Hawaii, and that was where I saw this change that had happened in the ocean. I never had seen this plastic material before in the 90s at all on beaches, and suddenly at South Point there were mountains and mountains and mountains of plastic, colored plastic toys, things from household items, fishing gear. And I realized there was no people there. They weren't dumping it. That literally had come from everywhere around the world, and the ocean was just trying to get it out. It was throwing it up like a cat would throw up a hairball. I felt like I was visiting a crime scene. I knew no one would even believe that this material was down there, and the extent of it and the amount of it and the weirdness of it. And so that launched the Drifters Project, and for the next several years I just kept figuring out ways that I could get back there, clean it, get the stuff off the beach where it was harming nature, and put it back in front of people's eyes so they could look at it and reflect about it and try to understand what we've done. The ocean is always pushing things up on the beach, and in the past it used to be coconuts and driftwood and shells and all kinds of things like that, and those are still there, but now the plastic has actually eclipsed the natural material. I noticed that the ocean was actually like a giant sorting mechanism, and would find things that were like each other. Like there's these things called net balls, which are these enormous big tangles of different colored nets, of different weights, of different thicknesses, of different sizes. And it makes you realize that it's all one ocean. It's just a giant interconnected body of water, and the water is moving this material around. And it's moving it around in a way that I believe is trying to communicate with us to pay attention. I grew up in the age of plastic, and it was always about disposability and ease and comfort and all these things that were supposed to be modern and make our lives more simple. But what we know now is that plastic is a material that has so many unintended consequences. It's killing creatures that are ingesting it accidentally. It's actually entangling other prey, just as they're moving through the ocean. We also know a whole host of diseases that are linked to the ingestion of the chemicals that plastic sheds, including ADHD, obesity, lower testosterone in males, a male genital birth defect. The primary way that we know things enter the ocean is through the water vector. So even in a landfill, when it rains, if the landfill is near a river, that stuff can wash down in. And eventually it's going to follow channels, because water moves, and water moves downhill, and it ends up in the ocean. People like my work initially. They like it because they think it's beautiful. And I do that on purpose, because the beautiful is this sort of a hook, and I think it's like my secret weapon. Then you slowly start to realize that, oh wow, that's comb, or that's a toothbrush, and those are things I use every day. And then they might read what the label is and what the material is, and learn that this was ocean plastic found in Hawaii on a remote island that very few people even live on. How did it get there? That's the kind of questions I want people to start asking. And then at that point, we can start talking about the damage that this stuff is causing to nature, to creatures, to the non-human parts of the planet, but to humans as well. So this is a commission from a family that was on a boat trip in Hawaii, and they were there, and they didn't even realize that the captain didn't know what he was doing, and snagged a propeller with a drift net, which ended up causing the boat to sink, and the captain abandoned ship and left that family to die out there. So they all ended up surviving and were rescued. The father got a commendation from the Coast Guard, and the captain went to jail. But weirdly enough, I found one of those propeller snaggings by a drift net in Hawaii. And so when they approached me with this commission idea, I needed to make something that to me signified First of all, the dark danger of this plastic and the vortex. Here's the lid of a coffee maker. So it's just all strange, weird things. Soles of shoes, spools of fishing material, some kind of fake spectacle sunglasses.